Hello everybody, welcome back to Bandwagon Sports, and today I'm going to be reviewing the 2021 Canada U18 team, and it's a pretty good team, I will admit. I'm not a fan of Canada though, so it doesn't really matter to me, but let's get into it. Starting with the goalies, because I think that's the weakest part of this team, usually is. So in net for Canada, it is Thomas Milic, Benjamin Goudreau, and Tyler Brennan. All three of these guys are just kind of goalies. None of them are putting up great numbers in their respective leagues. Thomas Milic is probably the best of these three guys, and he's still not great in the WHL, so not really anything to talk about with the goalies. But let's move on to the defense now. So we got Jack Mattier, who plays for the Ottawa 67s in the OHL. He's okay. He'll probably be, one of the, maybe a 5, 6, or 7. There's Denton Matichuk, who plays for Mooster on the WHL. He's actually decent. He's a good shutdown kind of defenseman for Team Canada. There's Guillaume Richard, who plays for Tri-City in the USHL. He's actually pretty good. Kind of more of a defensive two-way guy, I would say, but he can put some points on the board. Ethan Del Mastro, who plays for Mississauga in the OHL. Again, another guy who hasn't really played this year, but last year he was just a normal rookie defenseman. We got Brant Clark, who is probably the best player on this blue line, definitely is. And he's played in Slovakia this year, and he's been really good over there, so I'm really expecting a big tournament out of Brant Clark. There's Corson Kuhlmans, who plays for Brooks in the AJHL. He is playing really well in the AJHL, so I'm expecting him to be more of an offensive kind of guy, maybe make some defensive mishaps here and there, but definitely a guy who can put points on the board. There's Olin Zellweger, who is pretty decent. He's looking like he's going to have an okay year for Everett in the WHL. And then there's also Nolan Allen, who is a big shutdown defenseman from Prince Albert in the WHL. Oh, man, my back is having these spasms today, and I really do not know why, and it's a pain. So now let's move on to the forwards right here. So first we got Mason McTavish, who plays for Peterborough in the OHL. In the Swiss Hockey League this year, he is playing amazing. I'm really expecting Mason McTavish to probably be the first-line center on this team. He's looked really good this year. A guy who I would have in my top 25 for this year's draft. Next is Dylan Gunther, who plays for Edmonton in the WHL. Another guy who's just so outstanding. He's really taken the WHL by storm this season, and I fully expect him to get drafted top 5 if he continues with good play in the tournament. Next is Ryan Winterton, who plays for Hamilton in the OHL. He's just a decent player. Last year didn't put up any phenomenal numbers, but he's probably just going to be a bottom 6 forward for Team Canada anyways. Next, we got Connor Bedard, who plays for Regina in the WHL. And Bedard is probably a surprising one here. He's only 15 years old, and he is looking so outstanding in the WHL already. I put the little star icon here to signify the underage players. So yeah, Bedard looking really good. Next, I got Cole Sillinger for the Grand Rapids something in the USHL, and Cole Sillinger is putting up some amazing numbers as well. Probably a top 5 player in the USHL this year, if I had to say. Next, we got Wyatt Johnson, who plays for Windsor in the OHL. He's decent. I actually like Wyatt Johnson and his game. I think he can be a decent middle 6 forward one day. He'll probably play bottom 6 minutes though for this Canada team. Next, you got Shane Wright, who plays for Kingston in the OHL, and I expect him to play really well in this tournament, probably being a top 6 player. Insane player in Shane Wright. He was really good last year. Next is Connor Roulette, who plays for Seattle in the WHL, and Connor Roulette is a really good player. I think he's one of the more underrated players in this upcoming draft. He's a really decent player, kind of good all-around tool. I expect him to play bottom 6 minutes, but I think he's definitely able and very capable to get, a few points in this tournament. Next is Logan Stankoven, for Kamloops in the WHL. Stankoven has got off to a pretty hot start for Kamloops, so, you know, it'll be interesting to see where he slots into the lineup. He's better than Roulette. I think he should be a top 6 guy, but I don't know. But I expect him to have a good tournament as well. Next, we got Danny Zilkin, who plays for Guelph in the OHL. He's most definitely a 4th liner on this Canada team. Nothing outstanding about Zilkin. Francesco Pinelli for the Kitchener Rangers of the OHL, and Pinelli has some really good talent. He looks pretty good in the Swiss League this year or Slovakia League. It's one or the other, but he looks good this year. You know, hoping for him to have a good tournament. Next is Brett Harrison from the Oshawa Generals, and Harrison, another guy like Wyatt Johnson, who hasn't played this year at all, but he's a guy who I could definitely see going in the second round of this year's draft. He's a good, capable player who can slot into a middle 6. Just a good player for Canada to have. Next is Brennan Othman, who plays for Flint in the OHL, but he is playing for Zurich, I think, in the Swiss League, and I'm sorry about the screaming in the background. Some people just don't know, you know, how to grow up. But yeah, Brennan Othman Brennan Othman, really good player. I hope he has a good tournament because I really like Brennan Othman. I'm a big fan of his coming into this year. And last but not least is Chase Stillman, who plays for the Sudbury Wolves in the OHL. He actually had a pretty decent rookie year last year in the OHL, and I think that he could be a top 3 round pick in this draft if he played this year, but he didn't. So this tournament probably means a lot to Stillman. But yeah, there's the Team Canada roster. If I had to rate it out of 10 for a U18 team, I would say that this is a solid 8 out of 10. I think there's definitely some holes on this team, like defense and goalie is not great. Brant Clark's really the only, Brant Clark and Nolan Allen are really the only big name defensemen who can, you know, really play defense. Corsten Kuhlman's not going to contribute a load of defense, and I think the weakness with this Canada team is going to come with, you know, allowing the puck in their own zone. If a team like Russia or Sweden or USA gets the puck in Canada's zone and overwhelms these guys and these guys with the puck, then Canada's going to lose, because I think that a lot of the other teams have much better defensive cores than Canada does in this U18s. Unfortunately, Sweden's missing William Eklund. That sucks for me because he's my favorite player in this draft, but whatever. But yeah, I think I could see Canada winning this tournament. I'm not going to put them as my winner until I've seen every other team, because I think there's definitely going to be at least a couple teams better than Canada in this year's U18. So that's it for this video. If you enjoyed, please consider subscribing and liking. It means a lot to me. And actually, my Rodion Amirov highlight video has kind of gotten a good amount of views recently. So thank you for that. Thank you for all the support on the Anthony Mantha video as well. And yeah, thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. But for now, bye.